Hi, this is Anh Jorgensen with Law of Life, and today I will show you how to make the Vietnamese asparagus soup. The ingredients include asparagus and cilantro, some chicken, some shrimp, and Anh special. I will tell you later what's in Anh special. And we have crab with some tapioca starch. Now, if you are my mom, you will add some more into the soup, which is quail eggs and some veggie like corn, green peas, and carrot. And don't forget some of the egg as well. So here is the main ingredient, and here's just extra ingredient. Now let's dive in. To start, I will heat up the water so that I can boil the chicken and the shrimp, and then we will peel it and put it in the soup, and then we'll cut the chicken smaller and put it in the soup. At the meantime, I will also boil the quail eggs so that I can add in the soup. Now I will boil the chicken, and I have some trick to have a fast boiling. I believe some salt will help it boil faster, and the chicken's taste will be better too. So this one is for the quail eggs. Put the quail eggs in here. Should put it in before. And a trick to making egg is I cook it till it boils, and then I move it out and leave it there for 5 more minutes. Like that, the eggs will not have the dark black rim around it, so it still be able to retain the nutrition in the eggs. Now we hear it boiling, and it's time to put in the chicken. I will put only 2 or 3 pieces of chicken in. And after that, we will shred it. And this one, the egg still takes some time. Now it's boiling, so I just leave the eggs here on the stove for 5 more minutes. And I check on the chicken. It's boiled really high now. And voila, the chicken is done. Imagine that. Now I put it in here, and I will use the same water for boiling some shrimp. This way we don't need new water. Save some energy. Chicken don't want to go up. Add some shrimp in. Boil some of this. Shrimp usually a substitution. Usually we make this food with crab, but sometimes we cannot find some crab, so we use shrimp. And we use it so often that right now it's become the main thing in our soup. After about 5 minutes, you see the shrimp is ready, so it's a good time to take it out. And this one, the eggs should be good as well. I will run the eggs over cold water so that it's easier to peel. And at the meantime, I will wait for the chicken to cool down, and I will shred it with my hand. Now, after we wait for this to cool down in order to peel, we will cook some of the broth. We will have the broth and make our main dish. So we pour chicken broth in here. Yeah, earlier when I talked about the ingredient, I forgot about chicken broth and sesame oil. These are 2 of the main ingredients. We have chicken broth in here, and then we put it on the stove for it to boil. While waiting for it to boil, I also peel the shrimp, the eggs, and shredded the chicken. And then come to the asparagus. What I do is I usually fill the asparagus to where it's soft so that we can eat, and I break the bottom part off. Here is the asparagus already break down while we prepare this asparagus. This way. After I cut that bottom off, now I will cut this into about 2 inches, 1.5 to 2 inches, so I can put in the soup. For cilantro, I usually cut off the bottom if it doesn't look good, but this cilantro at HEB is really fresh and nice, so I will use them all. And the same thing, I cut it small, actually smaller than the asparagus, but this I will use for garnish and put it in the soup at the end so that it gives some flavor and also some nice aroma. While waiting for the broth to boil, I will crack the egg in this bowl right here so that I can pour over the soup. Just need 2 eggs. And then whisk it. Now that while we're waiting for the water, I just figured out that the chicken broth is not enough, so I pour over some more water to get it more full, since we have a lot of ingredient here. I also move all my ingredient next to the stove so that I have it all ready for me to cook. While we wait for that, I will prep the tapioca starch, so later I can use it to thicken the soup. And it's very simple. I use 1 tablespoon of the starch and put it in the water and mix it up. That's it. This is for thicken the soup. If you don't have tapioca starch, you can use cornstarch as well. Whichever one ready for you, available for you. And while we're waiting for the soup, I also talk about this end special. What is in the end special? I have this vegetable seasoning, vegetable bouillon that I use. I mix with salt, pepper, and a little of sugar. And this helped me cut down on salt. And for that, I don't have fluffy hands or fluffy feet. It's more healthy for me, and it's really tasty. I use this for stir fry or for soup as well, and I just remade it so that it's easy to do. Now the soup is ready. So I will put in here the ingredient that we already prepared. First is the chicken. Maybe I use my hand. And after that, I will have my crab, the crab that we got at the store. And this soup is very dedicated. We usually use it for New Year because we have the crab in there, and crab is quite expensive in Vietnam, So we only use it for New Year purpose, or sometimes we substitute it with shrimp. But here it's so easy to get to, and it's already pre-made. So we just put it in the soup. And after this, we will put the asparagus and cilantro, then some egg drop, and we thicken it, and that is our soup. But as I mentioned before, if you were my mom, she would put some extra stuff in there, which is shrimp and also quail eggs. So I will put that in here as well. And then we will also have some veggie. Corn and pea and carrot. Put them all in here. Now we taste it. And I will put some Ann special in here. Again, this is the vegetable bouillon with some salt, pepper, and sugar. 1 scoop and a half. Now it's boiling high. It's time to put in the asparagus. With asparagus, we don't need to cook that long because we can even eat it raw. It's really fast to cook, and we want it still crunchy, and crispy, and fresh. So we just put it in by the end, at the end when it's really boiling. Now is the fun part. After it's boiling high, again, then we will put the egg drop in and we will thicken it. It needs to boil really high in order to pour in this egg drop. With egg drop, I just pour like this. Usually I have my my magic wand, the chopstick, but I forgot it at home, so we just need to pour it like this. And we move it around so that it will not clumps in one place. We want it moving. And now you see the egg drop. It has all the string that looks really wonderful. And you move it. And now we thicken it with this one tapioca starch that we prepare. Mix it up, mix it up. And we put it at the very end, because then it thickens the whole soup. Now at this point, I will put in the cilantro and then sesame oil. And why I put sesame oil way at the end is because any oil has the heat point where the smoke will come up and the oil will break down on the molecule and it changes the flavor. For avocado oil it will be 500 degrees, but for sesame oil it's only 325, so it cannot handle high heat. That's why you want it at the end, so when it breaks down all the flavor and the aroma, that is when you turn it off. You don't want it in there for long. It's just a drop like this. And that should be good. Now we turn it off. And voila! You have the whole soup. This is the Vietnamese asparagus soup with crab. And it's very dedicated, but it's very simple to make. So if Anne can cook, so can you. Hope you enjoy it at home. Bye!